Raising the Bets is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give. You're listening to Raising the Bets, a family podcast of pirates and penguins. We're a Catholic couple raising 5 kids outside of Boston. Join us as we share the joys and challenges of marriage, homeschool, and our adventures near and far as we make sense of the world and experience the best parts of our culture. I'm Don Bettinelli.
And I'm Melanie Bettinelli.
And I'm still trying to make sense of daylight savings time.
Yeah, no. Every year.
Every 6 months.
No, but every year with the fallback thing, I'm like so worried about like morning shift, like getting up for mass and everything. And then I forget like bedtime. So 7:30 rolls around and we're still eating dinner, and then 8:30 rolls around and I'm thinking these kids should be in bed. And then it like suddenly hits me. Holy cow, their internal clocks think it's 9:30. These kids should really be in bed. What the heck are we doing?
Yeah.
Every year.
Without fail. We thought it was bad when they were babies, who couldn't tell time. It might be worse now because they're just up. They're a baby you just pick up and put down. I don't know. I think it all is terrible.
They're tired. They're cranky. They're out of sorts. But the clock doesn't say that it's time to go to bed, and so It
is time to end this anachronism and just have one time all year round. Please. I will vote for any politician that makes this the core of their platform. I now become a one-issue voter. So free us from the strictures of time. Oh, yes. Anyway, and the reason we're all so tired is it's been quite the week.
Yes.
I was making a list of all the things we're going to talk about. I'm like, I'm just exhausted looking at it. All right, so let's roll into this right off the bat. Okay, Halloween.
Right.
So Halloween this year was one of those, we were worried a few days in advance because of the forecast. And I know some people ended up, you probably listening to this, probably ended up with having Halloween rained out. We were
snowed out for some of our friends and family.
Yes, in some areas of this country. We had the forecast that it was going to be like very windy, like dangerously windy, possibly like 50-mile-an-hour gusts and rain, which just wouldn't work. And then there's also discussion online in our local town Facebook group. Are we going to be postponing? And then you have the old farts running around going, no, when I was a kid, we trick-or-treated in lightning. And, and Noah was low in the ark and we were still out there going door to door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not in favor of the whole postponing Halloween. Like, Halloween is Halloween.
Right. If it's raining a little, you don't, you go and you do it. If it's, thunder and lightning and blowing like the northeast gale, well, there's always next year. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like doing it on another night, and you got to coordinate everybody in town, and it's just no.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So the kids were praying, and darn it, if their prayers weren't pretty darn effective, because Halloween rolled around.
We had rain most of the day, but like light rain, like drizzly, misty rain.
But by the time dinner time came and the sun went down, it was dry. It was brisk. It was breezy. It was overcast. I mean, it was. When I say breezy, it was like Winnie the Pooh blustery day. There were a couple of gusts that I felt were really pretty strong.
They almost knocked Lucy off her feet.
Yes, and poor Anthony's pirate hat blowing up. He had to carry it around under his armpit. But it was actually really good Halloween weather because it was like 70 degrees out. It was so warm. We had the doors and windows open. It was so warm in here, but it was blustery like crazy. And it was gloomy. It was like any other day we'd be like, oh, it's so gloomy. This was perfect Halloween weather.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. I took the kids as their request. They like me to take them around because I'm the fun parent.
You're more fun than I am. What can I say? It's true.
I don't know why they think I'm more fun. I just kind of walk with them. I don't do anything on the while we're walking.
Oh, see, I think the thing is you don't poop out as early as I do.
I do go further. I do.
You go further.
Yes,
That's-
I take them. Actually, yeah, they.
Of course,
they,
what they're remembering is me taking them out trick or treating when Lucy was like 2 was the last time I took them out, and so
Right.
of course we didn't go very far because she was 2.
Well, it was like a couple years after that was when she had the asthma attack. We had to cut it short and come straight back, and I was like freaking out.
Well,
like,
yeah.
carrying her because I didn't think she was going to make it. That was pretty scary. But yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, they ran out of gas before I did. I mean, this is my going and walking 3 miles every day. It helps with that, I suppose. But there were a lot of kids out. I hear some people talking about, oh, there's no kids. There were quite a number of kids in our neighborhood.
I would say that we had fewer trick or treaters this year than we did last year.
Okay.
So at least from my perspective, answering the door, there were not as many
Which
kids
might
out.
have been a weather thing. I mean,
Yeah,
some people
yeah.
may have decided to better part of valor and stayed in or gone, to a trunk or treat or something
right.
instead. Which is I don't get, but that people have decided to do trunk or treats, and I think one night of candy is enough. But that's just me. So the kids all dressed up. Bella, 13, still goes, and I've come around to seeing that as a thing to do. I used to be like, why are these teenagers trick or treating? They're even to the little kids. But some people have educated me. Well, they're trying to hold on to their childhood. They're trying to,
Yeah.
and the kids who are putting in the effort, they're trying to put on a costume or it's the 17-year-old, the kid who's shaving, who drives up in his Mustang in front of my house with a Shaw's bag.
I'm much more soft because I figure even those kids, they want to be. They don't want to stop
Okay.
trick or treating. They don't want to give it up,
Someone was saying that
and they don't have the excuse of little brothers or sisters to take around. So
someone was telling me that some guy with a full beard came to the door, had a butt hanging out of his mouth and a beer in his hand, looking for candy.
I'd have probably given them some pity candy because actually we ended up not. I bought 2 big bags of candy, and there was still half of the second bag.
As usual, like by the time it usually ends around 8.
No, our last trick or treaters, like we think it ends around 8, and so I'm like conserving the candy. But the last trick or treaters actually show up at about 7:30.
No, that's what I'm saying. It usually ends around 8, but around 7 or 7:15, we've got like they're starting to peter out, and we've got like a whole bag of candy left. I'm like, whoever comes next, just give them half the bag. Just give them handfuls. Which hey, start going around it a little later. You're gonna get extra candy from people. But I love answering the door. I love the kids coming to the door and interacting with the kids and oohing and eyeing over their costumes, and I just love all that aspect of that one night a year when neighbors talk to each other and go to each other's houses and we interact and we have fun, and I just love that part of it, and I really miss that the rest of the year. Which is one of the reasons why I kind of wish the kids would let me do the door at home, but I like taking them out too, so it's not the end of the world. And all the neighbors are so great, and they ooh and ah over all the kids, especially Lucy, and who's adorable in her teeniness. And then they're trying to explain to the kids, like, yeah, that house has a light on, but I don't think they're giving out candy. I don't think they're home, or the house with the light that's really dim, and you're wondering, and there's lights on in the house. You're like, should we knock? Because they might be giving out candy, but I can't tell if that light is on or not, or if that's just a bad bulb. Yeah, it's one of those things. And there was the one house that had a light on. We went to the kids went up to the door and knocked, and someone peeked out the window, and then the light went off, and then Bella comes back and says, "Oh yeah, the sign on the door said trick or treaters, no trick or treats tonight. Jesus saves." And I'm like, yeah. I'm trying to explain to them. Some people, they think that Halloween is like honoring the devil, and so they don't give out candy, and that's their belief. And we let people have their belief. That's fine. There's no requirement that everybody has to give out candy. So it was a little bit of an education for them. So
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain because, like, we believe in Jesus and we also go trick or treating.
Right.
So we don't see a conflict in it, but some people do.
Right. It's trying to explain how different people have different beliefs about Jesus.
But yeah, we don't. So the kids dress up and they get some really nice costumes, but we don't actually go out and buy costumes or even props. Really,
No,
they basically
yeah.
they basically mine the dress up bin for costumes. They had all had picked out their costumes several days, weeks, even months in advance.
Except for one of them.
Except for poor Anthony, who just couldn't decide what he wanted to, and he was the very last minute.
Like as we're getting ready to walk out the door, he's still trying to figure out what he's going to wear.
He ended up doing a pirate costume.
Yeah, I mean they all just wear like,
which, pirates.
Lucy was she was a Civil War soldier.
Yeah, she used one of the
Hamilton coats.
Yeah, the Revolutionary War coats, but she wore her the hat she got at Gettysburg. What do you call those? The little blue
the
Union soldier.
I don't know what they call them. Like the ones, yeah, you know what the
it's got a cute name. I want to say like Cupid or something. It's not Cupid, but
yeah.
Anyway, she had her hat, and we she wore rain boots, like bright yellow rain boots, which were so cute, and little neck scarf, neck scarf, and we gave her a leather belt with a wooden sword.
The sword in place of a gun, because we don't have any small guns that anyone would let her use.
Well, also, I just didn't think it was really, like, we don't know what the neighbors think about toy guns, and
yeah.
I thought that going house to house with a toy gun might not be
We've run into
a cool thing.
Local folks who get upset over the kids playing with sticks that look like guns. So yeah. The girls were what, princesses or something?
Isabella and Sophie were both princesses, and Ben was
King Arthur.
Yes, King Arthur.
Arthur, King of the Britons.
So basically, knight costume, like fake mail and a big sword and a shield.
Knitted crown that a friend sent. Remember that? Who made the knitted crowns that they got?
Well, various ones. One of them came. The yellow one actually came from Etsy. The girls had got some that a reader of my blog had sent them at one point.
Oh, okay. But these really neat knitted crowns and a knitted coif. Ben has a knitted coif.
I think it might actually technically be crochet, but
a yarn, a sort of apparel. Why no?
I know.
It's made on a loom, like a wreath, or
no. There is no loom involved.
With the warp and the weft and the sticks. And
crochet uses hooks. Knitting uses needles.
Old grannies dancing by the moonlight.
No. So yeah, we also had our traditional Halloween
Chinese food dinner.
Chinese takeout dinner at your request because Halloween is my
birthday.
Yes.
And therefore I don't get to celebrate it. I don't get cake. I don't get any of the normal. We don't get to go out to dinner. So the one thing we do is we get Chinese food, which is my preferred takeout dinner, which we don't get as often as I'd like.
Yeah, I'm just,
and probably just as well that I don't, because I always order too much and eat too much of it and don't feel good afterward. But gosh, I love it. I don't know why, but I do. So yes, we did the Chinese takeout, and then the house is a disaster. Like, we leave the kitchen a disaster. The kids go out, they come back, they're tired, they start chewing down the candy. So our philosophy with the candy is eat as much as you want as fast as you can.
Right. We've learned over time, trial and error, that like just doling it out a few pieces at a time just prolongs the agony, and we end up
agony.
Yeah, we end up with Halloween candy at Christmas time that still hasn't been eaten.
Oh no.
Or at Easter time.
No. There was the year where we got out the Halloween candy pillow cases. The ones that we use for Halloween candy, before we got the buckets, and we got them out for Halloween. We looked inside, and oh look, there's candy in here. What's that from? Oh, that was from last Halloween. Yep. So yeah. Well, if you leave it up to Sophie, she will dole it out over the next,
Sophie
8
is
years.
A hoarder. She gets a cookie and she will savor it for the entire day, nibbling.
She was proudly declaring over the weekend how that one day we were driving from home from Gettysburg, she made a donut last until dinner from breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something to be proud of. That's kind of weird and gross.
Yeah.
Eat your donut.
Yeah. So we have actually the problem that we end up having with Halloween candy is unequal rates of consumption. So that there will be one child who
Anthony's
has
out.
right. One
That's
child
like-
who's completely out.
They come in, they dump everything on the floor, and then 5 minutes later, Anthony's like, Kramer, I'm out. It's like, where did all that go? And then Sophie is like, she's got the stash, and then she starts, selling it for favors or something, like she's the Godfather.
Right. So then like I sort of end up letting them have Halloween candy is it after dinner dessert, but then there's always the one kid who's like, but I don't have any more candy, and everyone else is like, I do.
Well, and then of course Lucy, who is allergic to all of the candy,
Yeah.
I mean pretty much across the board, she still loves to go and trick or treat. She
Yes,
doesn't care. She loves to
adores
go
it.
up to the door and get the stuff, and she happily hands over the bucket full of
Yeah,
candy.
she comes home with a big full bucket. I go through it. I take out all my favorite candies, and then I let the other kids like rummage through it and split up.
So basically, you're
the rest of
sending
the
her
loot.
out to get candy for you from the neighbors.
Totally.
Okay, this is so we're clear of that. Yeah, we dump it out. Well, this is the cutest part.
Oh yeah.
We dump
it's
out the
so
bucket,
cute.
then she goes back outside, rings the doorbell, and Melanie opens the door. She says, trick or treat, and then you give her the special, wicked expensive allergen-free candy that we get for her.
Right. And what's really funny is that like the last 2 years, she's been doing this when other trick-or-treaters came up behind her. And so here I am like stuffing her bucket full of these gigantic bags of
These
like
kids-
gummy worms.
The kids behind
and
their
gummy
eyes go like
bears.
saucers, like, we've hit the jackpot. We love this house.
And I have to say, this is
My daughter.
this is my daughter, and I'm giving her the stuff that like she can actually eat because she can't eat any of the candy that she just like got trick-or-treating from like other houses. And one of the neighbors this year, it was really sweet. One of our neighbors said, "Oh, you should like go around and give everybody special candy so that she can
No.
like get her candy from our houses."
Not even that. He said, you should let us know so that we can have candy, give her candy that she can eat. He was
Oh yeah,
saying,
he was going to
we
go out
should
and
let
buy.
them know so they go and buy. I'm like, that's really nice of you, but this is like expensive and hard to find.
Yeah, because she can't have. She's allergic to corn, and corn syrup and corn starch
Or
are in
everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
And she also can't have
Dairy
dairy or nuts.
or nuts. Yeah. Milk
So-
chocolate.
So basically, like everything is out. Anything that's made with corn syrup, anything that's made with milk, anything that's made with nuts, she can't eat any of.
Right. So there are things that she can eat that we buy that we get special order on online. But
And I get like the super organic gummy bears that are made like all natural with cane sugar
yeah.
and they use other kinds of starch instead of corn starch. So
I mean, we're lucky that all those hipsters are out there.
yes, thank you.
Thank you, weirdos who won't eat regular food, because you've made it possible for our daughter to have a treat.
Anyway, it's so yes, she's very good. She doesn't complain. She doesn't whine. She's a trooper.
Yeah.
But we do go out of our way to get her special things that she can't eat. Her favorite this year, though, I have to say, was probably the salt and vinegar chips that I got for her. she that was the first thing that she tore into was the salt and vinegar chips.
Yeah, she can eat potato chips. That's a saving grace.
Some potato chips.
So yeah, as long as they're like your basic chips, like Cape Cod, right? Cape Cod chips have just potato, sugar, and fat.
Yeah,
That's sugar, salt. I mean,
they're Cape Cod kettle chips, and they basically have potatoes and salt and oil and nothing else.
as long as they don't add cornstarch.
But like
or
the
other
the Lay's salt and vinegar chips, they have cornstarch and all sorts of additive crap.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
know? No, not good.
Like why? Yeah, never mind. That's a whole other discussion.
Why do potato chips need sugar? I'm not sure.
Or why do they need cornstarch? But well, I know why. It creates a texture when they fry it. It gives that texture on the outside. That's why some places coat their French fries in cornstarch too, as we found out.
Yes.
So as we said, it was my birthday, and we had the Chinese food, and we didn't do anything else for my birthday. I mean, it's fine. I'm at the point now where being alive isn't pretty much a birthday present. So I did get new pajamas.
Yes, and there's another treat coming. It's just
Mhm.
delayed in the mail.
Yeah. And I got a gift card from your parents and at Amazon, which I used to get a DJI Osmo Mobile. It's a gimbal for your smartphone, so you can take Steadicam videos with it, which I'm gonna have some fun making. It's nerdy, but
It's
cool.
so geeky. I wouldn't even know how to buy that for you, so
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
glad that you got a gift card from my parents, and then you could
We're not huge into gifts.
No.
Like you're especially not into it.
Right. I mean, yeah, I like getting gifts. It's not that I like hate getting gifts or anything. I don't, and I like giving gifts when I can find a good gift, but I don't like giving gifts for the sake of gifts.
Out of obligation, because today's the day you're supposed to give.
Right. Like I like finding like the perfect gift for somebody, but I also don't have time to go spending a lot of time looking for the perfect gift. So I don't like to give just like oh, I bought you some crap because it's your birthday and it's meaningless and it's useless and it's going to sit on a shelf. Like if I can't find a good thing, I will just not get anything at all.
Well, this is like at Valentine's Day when I tell people like they're like, "What'd you get Melanie for Valentine's Day?" Nothing. She doesn't really want anything. You're in so much trouble. I'm like, no, really. She's not one of those women who says no, I don't want anything, but really means you better get me a really good, awesome gift. Like when you say, like, you don't play games.
No, I mean, flowers are nice, but it doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. And I don't really wear jewelry. I'm allergic to gold, and I lose things. And chocolate's nice, but really, I'm kind of picky about chocolate. And like,
oh yeah,
yeah, and really, I'll just pick it up myself. Like,
I mean this in a nice way, but you're like the least romantic woman I've met. Which is I'm perfectly fine with, and most of the time. I mean, sometimes I'm kind of like, it would be nice if she wanted to be like have a romantic, evening together, like a romantic dinner, and that sort of thing. But you just don't care about that stuff.
But I mean,
you're very practical, down to earth, and.
But the
grounded.
thing is that like I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, a nice candlelit dinner at a fancy restaurant sounds nice, but yeah. Then you have run into the logistics of like you have to find a babysitter and like but by the time you get through all of like this stuff that you got to do, then it's just it kind of like ruins the magic because like you're like backstage looking at all the.
But you also don't want you don't like the like, oh, we'll go to this place and we'll take a romantic walk on the beach where I will have carefully hidden ahead of time in one single rose. Like if I ever did like anything like that, you would just roll your eyes at me and just keep walking.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Like cheesy romantic comedy stuff.
You don't like cheesy romantic stuff.
No.
Yeah. Some women do, and some women get mad if their husbands don't do that, but you do not care about that.
Yeah, I'm really just
fine by me. So let's see what else. Oh, then we had All Saints Day on Friday. Where we got up and we got to 9:00 mass at our parish.
We did not do All Saints party or All Saints costumes because really one set of costumes is more than
it's more than we can do. I mean, especially given what else we had going on on All Saints Day and everything else. But we don't usually do it otherwise. It's just one holiday.
Right. I mean, our homeschool group does an All Saints Day party. It's like an hour away, and we've never actually gone to it. And I kind of feel bad. Like I look at the pictures and I think that's really cute. That would have been fun. But
then you're like trying to find costumes for all the kids and
then like dealing with the post Halloween like candy hangover, and then like more candy, more
party,
people, more party.
Yeah, more. You've been out and now you need to crash emotionally because you're all introverted children.
Yeah, that's really. I mean, they wouldn't have fun. They would be falling apart because they would be tired from Halloween.
Well, no, it would be like the rest of the weekend. The Saturday and Sunday would have been craziness.
Right.
As it is, we're gonna this should be an interesting week because Friday night I took the girls, Bella and Sophie, the two older girls, and we did our first Scout camping trip with the BSA Scout girls troop. Oh man, it's the unwieldiest of all names. I still don't like they're the BSA Scout girls. They're not Girl Scouts. That's a whole other organization, but they're scouts who are girls. Just deal with it. So we went to it was the 4 girls of this new troop, of which I'm on the committee to lead it, and the Webelos from the pack that our other kids belong to, the Cub Scout pack, the Webelos from that group. Now Ben was supposed to go, but he couldn't. He's just been the health thing has been an issue, and he probably would have been fine during the day, but in the mornings, especially the cabin was a little musty that we stayed in.
That would have killed his asthma.
Yeah, so we were just like
Plus
your sister was coming. Teresa's here, and she's his favorite person in the world, and she was going to be here on Saturday, and he wouldn't get to see her for a whole day.
Yeah, he that was really like when we before the health thing even became sort of an issue, he was really torn about the whole not being here when she got here.
Right.
So it was easier to have him skip.
I think we might have mentioned it, but we might not have. But like we're just kind of we're taking it easy with the scouting for him for now. You know, just like we'll take it at whatever pace. We're not pushing. You know, got to make your rank. You got to make your badges. You know, we're gonna take it easy for the time. We'll see how that goes. So I went with the girls, and so it was 4 girls. There was the three guys. So me and the Cub Master, the Scout Master, and the Assistant Scout Master, and also one of the moms. She's the wife of the Scout Master, and then 4 girls, and then how many boys? 1, 2, 3.
Bunch of boys.
No, like 3 boys.
Only 3?
4. Yeah, I mean, there were more Webelos than that, but they all had stuff that they were doing. You know, kids are so busy these days. It's the story, you know. So so there was 3 boys, and it was fun. I mean, it was good. They built a monkey bridge, which is just picture 2 large branches, 2 like tree trunks in an X formation, and then another set of those, say 30 feet away, and then a rope bridge in between. Essentially, what it is,
Right,
the classic rope bridge where you have 1 rope that you walk on, and then 2 ropes higher in a V formation that you hold onto with your hands. And so they built it. The scouts did in the Webelos, and then of course the adults who knew what they were doing. But they built it, and it was a lot of fun.
And then they went fishing?
They did go fishing yesterday, and during the day, and Sophie caught her first fish, which was a huge perch. It was like a foot-long perch. It was awesome, and beautiful fish. You know.
Yeah, really pretty colors.
Yeah. And then it was at Camp Squano, which is the Boy Scout camp. I'm using the term, just deal with it. Boy Scout camp for this region, which is one of the 2 camps that I went to when I was a Boy Scout. So it was deep in the Miles Standish State Forest near Plymouth, and like it's funny. It's an hour from our house. It's a half hour on the highway, and then get off the highway, and it's a half hour driving through the forest. I mean, like you are deep in the woods, which is pretty awesome. You don't hear any traffic. I mean, it's really far away. The only thing you did hear was because hunting season has started. There were a lot of guns. And in fact, the ranger told the camp master that none of the scouts, because there were a couple other troops there as well, none of the scouts should go out hiking outside the camp. And even if they go hiking in the camp, they should wear they had the orange safety vests. So, because there were some out-of-state yahoos out there blowing things up in the woods. So, you know, shooting at everything that moved in the woods. So they, just to be safe. So we didn't go out. But it was pretty cold. Got down to, freezing overnight. The 2 scoutmasters, the Cub Master and the Assistant Scoutmasters, slept in their hammocks outside. Poor Dan, he had a brand new hammock. In the middle of the night, the strap snapped.
Oh no!
Dumping him on the ground. Oh man, yeah.
And the mom slept in the hammock too.
Yes. So Makiba is Japanese. She's from Japan. She married an American, and they have a couple of kids. And she is so excited about she's almost like one of the girls in the scout troop. Like she's volunteering to do the things, and like the scoutmaster's always like, no, this is for the girls. You gotta let the girls do it. But she wants to do all the scout things, and so she was all excited about sleeping out in the hammock, which she did.
Which I understand. As you know, I didn't get to do scouts when I was a kid, so I kind of understand the desire. Like when I went on the hike with the girls, it was really fun. I was thinking, you know, I kind of wish I'd have been able to be a scout when I was a kid.
Well, that's the thing is as if you're an adult, if you want to be a leader, that's kind of what you're doing. You're going to be doing a lot of that stuff. There is a thing called Wood Badge, which is sort of the equivalent of Eagle Scout. It's like it's training. It's the ultimate scout leader training course, and and it's like getting your Eagle Scout for the kids. So if you wanted to do that, you could take this course over a period of time and earn it. But it's a pretty intensive thing. So, and by doing these things with us, with the girls, you get to to experience a lot of it. But she at the meetings, she's right there at the table with the girls. She's tying knots and doing all the stuff the girls are doing. So that's fine. It's when the girls girls had to pick a patrol name, and they want the Howling Wolves or something, and she's like, no, I want Rainbow Unicorns. And it's like, that's not your choice, my dear. It's the girl's choice. But it's it's funny. It's really cute that she wants to to be involved. I mean, it's great that she wants to do all the stuff and be with the girls. And it's good for them to see excited parents. So she slept overnight out in the cold. We were inside. It was heated with there was a propane stove,
Mm-hmm.
like a wood burning stove, but it was propane. So it wasn't super warm, but it was okay. I mean, I was layered. I had long johns and layers.
But both of the girls were pretty much cold all day today. Like they were still trying to recuperate the body heat that they'd lost.
Yeah, I mean during the day even it was in the 50s, but still you wanted to wear your coat, your winter coat and stuff. I guess when you're I was saying, it was when you're cold, you're just cold, and when you don't have a place to go to warm up, you feel colder, I think. Whereas when you have the house, you could run outside with a light jacket on and hang out for a while, but you don't feel as cold because I'm going to go back in the house and it's going to be warm. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I think there might be a psychological aspect to it. But it was really nice. The first night we were there was no clouds, so it was beautiful sky.
Yeah,
and
Bella said she saw a shooting star.
She went out over to an area away from the campsite, so they wouldn't have the campfire wouldn't ruin her eyesight. And she was looking at the stars, and there were some shooting stars. So
That's
she
cool.
saw blaze across the sky, which was neat.
And she's been wanting to see one for a while. So
Yeah, so it was neat. It was neat. Last night there was clouds had rolled in, so not as good. And of course there was as I said at the top of the show, the daylight savings change. So I woke up at 5:15 this morning because my body said, "Hey, it's 6:15. You should be up." And it was like 5:15. Nobody else is up. I guess I'll sit here and read, which I did for a while. Yeah, and then we packed up and got home. And you had gone to mass with your sister and Anthony, Ben, and Lucy.
yes, we made it to the 8 a.m. mass, which was less of an accomplishment, of course, because our bodies all thought it was 9 a.m.
Right. Ben's specifically.
Right. I mean, it was great. He, even without Bella there, he served mass,
Which he hadn't been able to do in a while.
Um,
And you said he carried the cross
he carried the cross. He did a great job and
and rang the bells, which is
and rang the bells.
the ultimate job for altar servers, ringing the bells.
So yeah, it was good. And then we came home. I made scones, blueberry lemon scones.
Mm.
And then I basically spent the entire day cooking. Like it was just,
Yep.
I made boiled eggs in the Instant Pot. I made a loaf of whole grain bread, and then I made beef barley soup.
So beef barley soup is one of my favorite soups. I love soup, but for some reason beef barley soup just is it's just hearty to me. It just tastes like warm and hearty, and full and I've been well fed. You know, so I was really happy that you had made that. It was really good. We had one mishap where we have a glass pie plate that you were putting in the oven with the bread to provide steam for the bread.
Right, with water. And I've done this, I can't even count how many times. I've always used this pie plate.
And it was preheated.
The pie plate went in the oven like when the oven was cold, and I preheated the water that went into the pie plate. It was like boiling in my electric kettle.
I wonder if that's what it was. So when you put the water in, the plate
shattered.
The plate shattered all over the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if the water was too hot.
But I always boil it in the electric kettle.
Yeah.
Like this is what I've done this exact same thing. I don't even know. So
the only other thing I can think of is that there was some sort of scratch, deep scratch, or some sort of fault in it that just got pushed over the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bread was kind of flat.
Didn't get the spring
for several reasons. Partly because the oven was kind of open while I was trying to deal with, oh my goodness, my pie plate just broke, and also because I didn't let it rise as much the second time, because I have this problem where my bread peel is really too small for a jumbo loaf of bread, and I made a jumbo loaf. I could have divided it into 2 loaves, I suppose, or I could have not put it on the peel. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't let it rise very much the second rise. I just kind of put it in the oven as soon as it got hot. So it was flat, but it tasted good.
Yes, it was good, and the soup was, like I said, really good. So other than that, we really haven't done anything all that interesting for cooking this past week. Just a lot of the same things that we've been doing.
Yeah, it's been kind of a boring cooking week,
Yeah.
and maybe that's why I spent all day today cooking.
Yeah. We do have some ideas for things.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into that nice cold weather where I feel like baking, like it's not hot anymore, so the oven feels good instead of feeling miserable, and like nice hot soups, hot baked goods.
Of course, we're 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away from the ultimate cooking holiday, Thanksgiving.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm not ready.
Yeah. We're never ready. Ready is such a weird term. Yeah, almost 4 weeks.
Okay.
So this Thursday will be 3 weeks. But yeah, there are some people. At least I don't get people who make practice turkeys. Like, what is a practice turkey? Like, I'm sick of turkey by like 3 days after Thanksgiving. Like, why would why I don't want another turkey. Like, if you've never made a turkey and you're having a bunch of people over, I get that. Okay, I want to make sure that it comes out well, and I'll make one to make sure I can do it. Because a turkey is one of those things where
maybe if you're testing a new recipe.
Yes, but I
don't know.
There are people who have practice Thanksgiving. I mean that's way more into cooking than I am.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't. I mean, for our Thanksgivings is just our immediate family. We don't do extended family Thanksgivings.
Yeah, we go over to someone else's house for dessert.
Yeah,
usually that's something like that. We used to do that, go to have all dinner together, but then it just became so big and complicated.
But also
Lucy's allergies.
Right. I mean, really, we hosted Thanksgiving exactly one time since we've been married, and that was the year that Bella was a baby, and that was because your sister was in the hospital having just given birth.
Right.
And so we offered to host because it was sort of their turn to host. And that way all the family could come up and be like near the hospital and sort of like have Thanksgiving dinner and then pop over to visit her and the new baby.
Right. I'm thinking we were that was maybe our third?
No. That was our...
right after Bella was born.
That was right after Bella was born. Like Bella was newborn.
So that was our second year together, married.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember that. Because I think our first Thanksgiving, we actually made it. We had a Thanksgiving dinner the next day. We made a dinner for just the 2 of us.
Right, because I wanted all the things.
The leftovers.
Yes, leftover turkey and stuff. So I made. We went to your families for Thanksgiving, and then we had another Thanksgiving.
Usually Carol's, my sister-in-law Carol, who's an amazing cook.
Because it's Thanksgiving leftovers are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had the by the way, we had the great beef stew tomato debate coming up in a future show. In the next few weeks we'll have the great stuffing debate.
Oh yeah. So I should say that the beef stew tonight did not have tomatoes because my sister is allergic to tomatoes.
So now we
That
have
solved the problem.
2 people with 2 separate sets of allergies in the house for the next few weeks.
Yeah, my sister has a lot of allergies.
Like, you think Lucy has weird allergies? Like your sister has. Like she's allergic to like
soy, shrimp, nuts,
tomatoes.
tomatoes, wheat. Yeah.
Like, there's more. There's more on there somewhere, but I don't remember them all.
Those are the ones I know off the top of my head. Anyway,
Yeah.
So yeah,
She needs to make a list so we can put it on the fridge.
cooking is a challenge, but
Yeah.
she's also like if I have to cook something that she can't eat, she's really good at scrounging in our fridge for stuff,
Right.
making something herself. She lived with us for several years, so like our home like is literally like mi casa su casa. Like
Right.
she comes in and she makes herself at home.
Right. Yeah, before Lucy was born, she lived here with us.
From
When we moved in.
yeah, from before Ben was born until Lucy was born, so like 4 years,
Yeah.
5 years,
Yeah.
something like
4, 5. Yeah.
Anyway.
So, all right. So let's move on to what we've been reading or watching. I'll talk quickly first about what I've been watching. The second season of the Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan series on Amazon Prime dropped, and I watched the first couple episodes. Couple of thoughts. I really like it. I'm just straight up front. I really do enjoy it.
This is like the young Jack Ryan.
It's Jack Ryan as a younger man in a contemporary time. So it's really sort of inspired by Tom Clancy. It's not right out of the books. Not the books.
So this is not like Harrison Ford's Jack Ryan.
No. This is a whole new they've rebooted the character.
A different character with the same name
It's
and similar characteristics.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. He is a CIA analyst who is a former Marine who was injured in the line of duty in Afghanistan this time as opposed to in Beirut, who then became a financial analyst, made a bunch of money, and then went into the working for the CIA as an analyst and got noticed because of his analysis and ended up doing a lot of field work, ending up in the field, which kind of mirrors the character from the book. But the character in the book was older. He was married. They had a kid. In this one, well, we saw the woman who in the books was his wife in the first season, and they were dating, but we haven't seen her in this one. In fact, let's just say Jack's not acting like he's dating anyone. He ends up, in fact, out of like the Jack Ryan of the earlier books was a Boy Scout. And they keep talking about this one. He's such a Boy Scout. He's a Boy Scout. Well, the Jack Ryan of the books would not have, even if he was single, would not have met a woman in a bar and taken her back to his hotel room. Like that just wouldn't have been a thing.
No.
Which he does in this one. Which is completely stupid because I'm yelling at him going, you're a CIA agent. She's obviously a foreign intelligence agent. Like, and yeah, she is. And she goes through his secret papers that he has left lying out in his hotel room. Like,
okay, now the original Jack Ryan would not have been that stupid.
Exactly. So I was a little annoyed at that. Then there's another scene where an assassin is trying to kill him in the bathroom of the hotel bathroom. And he's turning the tables on the assassin. And so the bad guy grabs the waste paper basket, the plastic liner from it, and puts it over Jack's head to suffocate him. And Jack's like struggling and pounding at the floor. Da, da, da. I'm like looking at it going, dude, reach up with your hands, tear the bag. Like his hands were not restrained in any way. Just tear the bag off your mouth so you can breathe. Like it is the dumbest thing ever.
That's really annoyingly
that's
stupid.
Bad directing. That's just the director being dumb. So a couple of things were annoying, but in general, I like it. I like John Krasinski as a character and an actor. I like the character, and the stories are interesting, and they do make him a bit of a patriotic Boy Scout. I mean, it's a very patriotic movie. American exceptionalism, that whole thing. So, with that regard, I do like it. I do, but it has its issues, a few issues. I'm only 2 episodes in, so as usual, the third or fourth episode will have some it'll go off the rails and do something completely immoral where I will be embarrassed for having recommended people watch it. But be that as it may, so far it's been pretty good. What have you been watching?
Well, I took the opportunity of you guys being out on Friday night, and
Wild party.
wild party. I put the kids to bed.
The preface on this is getting wild.
Right. It's getting wild. I wanted to mention that Lucy had a sleepover with the boys. Like she slept on their floor in their room,
Because
which
her
was
sisters
really
weren't
cute
there.
Because
Yeah.
she was too lonely in her room all by herself. So I put them to bed early, and they like had a little slumber party in their room. And I watched a really, really bad BBC version of Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey, which is the book I mentioned last week that I've been reading with Bella and Sophie. And I thought, well, maybe once we finish the novel, we can watch an adaptation. BBC is usually good. This was from I think 1987, and it was so bad. It was so cheesy.
It was cheesy.
Well, see, the thing is that in the novel, she's like a reader of novels, and she loves these like gothic romance novels, and so the show keeps like having these like almost dream sequences where she imagines herself as the heroine of this gothic novel, and like she's being chased across the landscape by a man on a horse, and she's wearing only a bed sheet, and she's being like restrained on a bed or carried like swooning in this guy's arms.
Oh
and it's
my.
like the same really cheesy scenes and this like horrible synth music, like 80s bad music that doesn't fit Jane Austen at all. It was awful. It was like gloriously bad, although it really had some nice like views of Bath, the city, and those were kind of nice. But I decided that maybe the girls and I might watch it like in order to laugh at it, but this was not the adaptation to like inspire them.
So I'm looking
But
at
then
I'm looking at the Amazon reviews, and
Yeah.
the first one says, throughout the movie, the music is just plain ridiculous at some
Yes,
parts.
it's
And
so ridiculous.
it's like 80, you said 80s synth music?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch. Okay, go ahead.
So then to get the taste of that out of my mouth, my mind, I needed to like get something. So I watched a more recent BBC Sense and Sensibility, which is I think like 2008 maybe. And that was actually really good. I liked it. It got a couple like details that I thought were a little bit weird, like a little bit off, but in general it was a solid adaptation of Sense and Sensibility. And so that was what I did. Movies that you would not watch.
Nope.
And I got to watch them on the big TV because you weren't here to like
Hogging it.
hugging the TV. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, most of the time I'm fine. I watch stuff that you aren't interested in on my laptop, and that's really okay, but it's kind of nice to have
Yeah.
the big screen sometimes.
I'm looking at the Amazon reviews. 1 star, 1 star, 2 star, 1 star. Like
Oh yeah.
the one's titled "The Soundtrack,"
Yes.
and the next one, "Ugly in just about every way." This one, not good. Do not care for the BBC version. Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, there was another version that was available on Amazon that you had to pay. Like it was a.
The Masterpiece Theater version, I'm assuming.
It
With
might have
Felicity
even been a
Jones?
later. It might have even been a later BBC version. I don't remember, but it was like pay to rent. I thought I'd watch the free one first, the one that was
Hmm.
included on Prime first.
Yeah, there's several of them, but
Yeah.
yeah, Masterpiece Theater. There's apparently one with Felicity Jones.
Oh, I think the Felicity Jones was the one I was looking at, thinking that might be worth watching.
Yeah, well, she did blow up the Death Star, or she helped blow up the Death Star.
Right? See, yeah. I mean, I could see her as an Austen heroine.
I'm a rebel. We rebel, don't we? Or however she said it. All right, let's.
So yeah, that was my wild Friday night.
Woohoo, partay.
I poured myself a glass of port. I sat and watched the movies. I let the kids stay up way too late. I think I finally went in there at like after 10, and they were still up talking, and they had no idea how late it was. Like, how can it be so late?
Yes. I did finish a book, a Star Trek book, Discovery War. No, Enterprise War, which we're thinking of making a premium that we'll give to patrons. They could choose as one of their patrons in a future, like maybe next year. And so Jimmy Aiken and I kind of go through and we look at for different books we'd like to offer patrons. And so this was pretty good because it's Captain Pike's Enterprise. So Pike, Spock, and it's a bit of a
Pike
prequel.
is the one who was before Kirk?
Yes.
Okay.
And the one who was started as a secondary character in Star Trek Discovery, who was so good that the fans were clamoring for a series, and it looks like we may actually get it. Like, because the fans loved Pike and Spock and those characters. But it was a very interesting, and it was a bit of a prequel to Star Trek Discovery. So that was good. I'd recommend it. So I think that's one of the things we're going to make available to patrons. I think that's about it. It's been a busy week, and we've really run through the time just talking about, like we said, everything that's been going on. So let me wrap it up. First, I want to take a moment, speaking of patrons, to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create Raising the Bets, including Guy C., David B., Erica P., Susan S., and Jonathan L. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue Raising the Bets and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. So that's it from us. If you've got any feedback, anything you want to say about what we've had to talk about, you can let us know by commenting at sqpn.com/bets. That's BETTS. Or at the SQPN Facebook page, facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. Or you can send us an email to bets@sqpn.com. And of course, any links to various books or shows or anything else we talked about will be in our show notes at sqpn.com/bets. If you have not yet done so, please subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, your favorite podcast app, or at the SQPN YouTube channel, where you can hit the bell to get notifications. Until next time, I'm Dom Bettinelli.
And I'm Melanie Bettinelli.
Thank you for listening to Raising the Bets on StarQuest.